And welcome to Magic Radio Chicago, streaming live from Q4.org, the station that creates beauty and defends it. Welcome, everybody, to our 158th episode of Magic Radio Chicago, if you can believe such a thing. We have been going on for quite a while now, and joining me today is my new co-host, the awesome, the powerful, the intimidating, the pretty, the nice, the scary.
The wicked.
Nina Soul. Welcome, Nina.
Hey, welcome. Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
I think my mic's not.
Is it?
No.
It should be.
No, I'm not. I don't hear it.
I can hear you.
Oh.
Too. Okay, turn it up.
All right. Hello. Oh, okay. Good. We're good.
We're good.
I'm here.
Okay.
I am here.
It's probably the volume in your mic in particular, or your headset in particular, but that's okay. We can fix all that. So welcome everyone to our 158th episode of Magic Radio Chicago, streaming live from Q4.org, the station that creates beauty and defends it. I'm your host, DK Prince, here with Nina Soul, and today we are talking to a friend of ours. She goes, how do I say this? Okay. She goes by the name Kemala Bruja.
That's right.
Yeah, Gemmell Bruja, yeah.
Did I get it? Did I roll the R right?
You got it. Gemmell Bruja.
Kemala Bruja. There we go. And for the benefit of our listeners, what is it that you do?
Oh, what do I do?
Yeah, what do you do?
I do all manner of good and bad things, but they don't call me Gemmell Bruja for no reason. Gemmell Bruja means what a bad witch.
I wondered about that.
Yeah.
Because I know in Latin, mala, or that's the basis of mal, as in like malicious.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes.
So you're the Kemala Bruja. That's like look at the bad witch, isn't it?
Yeah.
Something
Yeah,
like that.
Mala could be bad or naughty or,
Right, yes.
like mischievous or
Yes.
Mala is like it can be a lot of things.
True. So where did you guys? Now you've opened a brand new Botanica here in Chicago, as I understand it.
Yep, that's right. I, along with 3 other incredible brujas, artists, women, jacks of all trades, we opened up a art gallery in Botanica in Pilsen on June 1st called Ojo de Fortuna. And Ojo de Fortuna, we live right in the pocket or right in the intersection between art and magic. Because that's what our lives are. Our lives are art and our lives are magic.
That's cool. Now, Nina here and I were actually at your what was your grand opening? What was it? Just a few
No,
weeks ago.
it was one of her first vending events she was actually hosting. When was your grand opening actually?
The grand
Sorry.
opening was on June 1st.
It was June 1st. Okay.
And then the 2 of you came by and participated
Yes,
in
yes.
Fiesta de la Luna.
Oh, but the grand opening too. It's always a fun time, you guys. If you guys are ever in the Pilsen area or even just to travel, it is definitely worth it to go and check out this shop. The energy, you guys, is amazing. As soon as you walk in, you're greeted by all this loving energy. It feels like you're coming into your home, and it's so warm there, and the energy is high vibrational. So you guys will not regret. If you guys are gonna drive an hour away, you guys will definitely know that your destination is gonna be worth the travel.
Oh, thank you so much for
You're
saying that. I
welcome.
appreciate
You're welcome,
that.
of
Thank you.
course.
Yeah, that's cool. Now, how long has this been opening? You said since May?
We opened in June, but we started working on the space and working on creating the sacred space at the end of April, actually. Maybe it was the beginning, but it took us a couple of months to get it all together, and the space was entirely funded and brought up and created by the community, both by our Bruja community, our art community, our queer community, and the neighborhood of Pilsen that raised us and brought all of us together. So it was a labor of love, but we were very blessed and fortunate to have so much support opening the space, and we've continued to see that support on a daily basis there too. So it's a very magical thing to see.
Were you guys all practicing together in a coven, or what would you call it? Would you call it a coven, or is there a particular cultural name that you use?
We unofficially call it a coven, but it is not an official coven or traditional coven by any means whatsoever. That's just kind of the word we throw on there because there isn't really a word for it, as far as I know, for what we're doing. What the closest thing that comes to it is what we would call comadre culture. It's like, um, it's the idea of it takes a village to raise a family.
I was just gonna say it's like a definitely like a family vibe.
Exactly. Yeah. And many of our brujas that practice with us in our group, we call ourselves the Las Brujas Malas, the bad witches.
Do you have t-shirts?
Oh no, we want to get jackets though.
That would be cool. That would be awesome.
But many of the brujas in our group are mothers, and they bring their children with them to ritual and to our sacred space, and our kids, they meditate with us, and they have an understanding of the elements and how they play a part in our lives, and it's really beautiful to see. And we didn't intentionally make it inclusive. We just are inclusive and open that way.
Right. And it's also really important too, that because it's important to teach the children, because those are going to be the generation that will carry on the tradition of your teachings.
Absolutely.
That's true. And personally, I've always thought that just the culture we live in has always had a problem with the earth itself. I mean, just because 2,000 years of one culture basically telling us we were placed here like chess pieces, and we're not. You know, we're human beings. We're part of something the earth is doing, you know, like the way apples are part of a tree. And I feel people have a disconnect with that. They kind of feel like nature's somebody else's problem. It doesn't affect us, but there's nothing in nature that isn't part of us.
Right, like nature is like some outside source of energy, and when in reality nature is within us, nature is around us, nature is as much a part of us and within us as we are of it. So we're all one.
Yeah, it's an ecosystem. We're all a part of that ecosystem.
You know, while we're on the subject, let's just take a moment to draw some attention to the Amazonian rainforests, which are currently ablaze.
Yeah.
People don't realize exactly how important that gigantic piece of geography is to our structure of living. I mean, if that whole forest goes, we're screwed.
Right.
People don't. Plus, there's all sorts of medicines and all sorts of stuff in there. And you know why they're clearing the lands, don't you? To make way for cattle. So basically, people can industrialists can open up big like meat farms
to make money off of the land.
And they've been doing this for decades. People aren't aware, but they've been sending in helicopters with machine guns to tear apart the Indians to scare them from there.
Indigenous folks.
Yeah, any indigenous peoples living in or around the Amazon have actually been like marked for extinction. They've been hunted, they've been shot at, they've been murdered. There's pictures of like mercenaries going around gladly, proudly presenting the heads of the Indians that they've stolen. And these photos are not like ancient times. This is like within the last 2 decades. You know, this stuff has been going on regularly, and there needs to be a lot more attention to this, because if the polar ice caps go and now they're going to burn down the rainforests, we're pretty much screwed.
Right. But that's why it's so important that we embrace the power that we have within us and use our workings. I mean, if you guys are wanting to get into practicing witchcraft, right now, with what DK was just talking about, right now would be a good time to start working on some candle magic. Start sending some energy that we get more rainfall for this rainforest to put out these fires. And, put that energy, use that energy to manifest something that is better. Instead of feeding the negative, work on bringing in a more positive energy that is going to benefit the rainforest, the animals that live in the rainforest. I mean, how many animals are probably dying and getting pushed out of their homes, and
some animals might even be facing extinction.
Extinction, exactly.
Yeah. They don't exist anywhere else.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely. If you guys are looking to do some workings this weekend, or even with the full moon. When's our next full moon?
It's September 13th. It's Friday, September 13th, going into the 14th.
Yes.
But we're still operating under new moon energy from last night.
Right. So even new moon would be a perfect time.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that would be a perfect time to start doing some workings, to send some energy to, for nature, for the animals, that rain will start to come down in abundance and put out these flames. If we all did, even if it's a small spell or a small ritual or ceremony, that could be it's so empowering, you guys, and a lot of us fail to see how much power and how much potential each one of us has as an individual. And imagine putting that all together, the changes that could be made. Definitely do it.
Oh, I quite agree. Don't ever underestimate the power of synchronicity, especially in the
Yes.
hands of people who are actually practiced in the arts of magic. Chicago is a hub. We attract all sorts of energies and trade and all sorts of communications from all over the world, and we put it out there. We can do this. There's something special about Chicago that we can actually tap into and make synchronicity happen. I mean, don't ever underestimate it. It's ridiculous. I mean, imagine, if you will, it'd be a chopper full of mercenaries going to shoot some Indians, and they set fire to the rainforest, and then for some reason, maybe their fuel line busts. You know?
Right, exactly.
You'd be-
Something happens.
You'd be
The
surprised. Little things that could fall into place if just the right nudge was set into motion.
Right.
Yeah, it's crazy. What do you think about that, Kamala?
I think it's really important that you guys are raising awareness about it. Also, ourselves as practitioners, we have to be mindful of the tools that we're using to practice and to create magic and to cleanse ourselves. For instance, at Ojo de Fortuna, Quema la Bruja specifically is the botanica part of Ojo de Fortuna. And we are committing to, after we sell or utilize the last of the Palo Santo that we have in store, we will no longer be restocking Palo Santo in the store because it is currently endangered. There's only 250 Palo Santo trees currently in Peru, so it is very highly.
That's it?
Yes, that's it. And
I mean, that
with,
sounds a lot, but in the big scheme of things, that's nothing.
it's absolutely
That's like
nothing.
saying there's a city full of with 250 people. It's like, that's
Absolutely.
tiny.
And then with the Amazon burning, there's so many trees and there's so much deforestation that's happening that harvesting Palo Santo in those areas as well is contributing to that. So the reason, and that's something that is part of our spiritual practice, and it is very heartbreaking that that's something that we can no longer use because it's been capitalized, and because of that it's been misused. But I strongly believe that if you are not harvesting this wood or these plants, much like white sage, if you're not harvesting it correctly by offering something back to the earth and by asking permission and by doing so in ceremony, when you're cleansing yourself or when you're utilizing these tools, they don't even work the same. So that's why I appreciate you guys bringing awareness to that as well, just because we have to be mindful as practitioners what we're taking from the earth and how we're using that as well.
It's always good advice. Yeah, we forget that a little too often.
And also sharing this knowledge with other people. So, for example, like when we sell our products to other people, I know Shar does as well. But we actually explain to people how to use these products, what they're used for, and that's the thing, is that when you guys are burning Palo Santo, and I hate to say this, but I know that like places like Hot Topic or Spencer's, places like that, they're starting to carry sage and Palo Santo. Like, I don't know if have you seen that these stores are selling those products?
Yeah.
So a lot of people are burning them for the fragrance or the scent of it, and it's like, no, there's energetic properties, you guys. When you burn an herb or when you burn a wood that comes from nature, you guys are releasing that smoke that comes off of that herb while you are burning it is the spirit that is being carried off. It's the energy that is being carried off into the universe.
Absolutely.
So it is important that you be mindful of how you're using these tools, and you're appreciating the spirit that is giving its energetic life to bring you this sacred energy that it brings to you.
Yeah, I agree 100%. And like you said, that's why it's important to explain how to use those things. When you pick up a bundle of sage or something from, a big box store or something like that, which I've seen it in many different places.
Oh yeah.
When you pick something like that up, there's no one there to explain to you how to use that, and there's no accountability on how that was actually harvested either.
Right. And you guys have to support your local shops. Like, shop local. don't shop at these big, these big places, these big shops, because it's important to shop local and support your local shops and your local witches community to keep us in business, to keep us running, to keep us able to share our knowledge and to help others. There is a lot of love that we put into our businesses that you will not find at a franchise store.
Yep.
And as an old school occultist, let me explain something to you. If we catch you going into Hot Topic, we're going to stand there and we're going to point and laugh at you. Really, dude? Ooh, you're a spooky one.
Unless you're going in for like if you're going in for like a cool T-shirt or something like that,
fine.
that's different.
But if you come out there with big swagging, like, oh yeah, I'm the stuff. I've got my magical implements and stuff. It's like, I'm not going to take you that seriously.
And I got some quartz made out of glass that's man-made.
It looks just like real quartz, I swear. I know, it's crazy.
Truth be told, when I was 13, my cousin took me tarot deck shopping and we went to the mall and it was like
Of course.
a novelty type of store.
Although ideally, I think a proper first tarot deck should be a gift, as I understand it,
Yeah.
from either someone who likes you or from a witch,
Exactly.
a kind witch.
Yeah.
Mine was a gift from my cousin. So, yeah, I think that's not it's kind of a superstition or a suggestion.
Yeah.
But
I don't think it's written in stone.
Yeah.
Right.
But
I found personally that the only decks I connect with are the ones that were gifted to me. All the ones that I've ever purchased for myself, I ended up giving them to someone else because they didn't
Really?
work. Yep. I swear, every time. Every single time.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, on that note, why don't we just take a quickie musical break, and when we come back, we will begin our discussion with Gemmell Bruja and discussing the Botanica Ojo de Fortuna. And I might remind our listeners to call in once we come back if you want to join our conversation by calling us at 312-985-7834. Again, that's 312-985-7834. Or if you're feeling a little shy, send us a message. And as you can tell right now, Nina's got us going live here. What's going on, Nina?
Yeah, we are actually live on YouTube, you guys. So if you guys are a little bit shy to call in, you guys can jump onto the YouTube channel, House of Spiritual Vibes. And I am actually live right now on YouTube. And if you guys have any questions for Shar with Gemmell Bruja, Ojo de Fortuna, if you have any questions for DK, our host here at the show, or myself, the co-host, you guys can go ahead and enter your message in on the chat bar. It will pop up. I am asking that all questions be in capital letters. That way I can see that you guys have a question. I will read your question and then we will go ahead and answer it. So we're going to go on this quick break, and once we come back, if you guys have any questions, you guys can go ahead and either call in or you can put your question or your comment here on YouTube. Again, it is House of Spiritual Vibes.
All right. And you're listening to Magic Radio Chicago, streaming live from Q4.org, the station that creates beauty and defends it. Okay, so I'll play another song, but when that wraps up, we'll come back.
Okay.
You can bring us back.
Cool.
They should call us, like, when we're not...
Can you guys call us? I'm sorry, who's this? It's probably Mrs. Yeah, if you like, so we're getting a caller right now. Oh, okay. DK got it.
And we're back. You're listening to Magic Radio Chicago, streaming live from Q4.org, the station that creates beauty and defends it. Welcome, and thank you for calling Magic Radio Chicago. Hi, how are you? Your voice is a little soft there. Can you speak into the phone a little?
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you for calling. Yes, I can hear you now. Hi. Do you have a question for myself or Nina or a guest?
Wait, first, who is this? Is this, who is this? Mrs. I'm sorry, what was that? Okay, yeah, that's what I thought it was. Hi, how are you? Yeah, thank you so much for watching us on YouTube. I appreciate your love and support. Oh, awesome. So are you calling with a question? Did you have a question for one of us?
Yeah, not just particularly one person, but I would like to know knowledge from each and every last one of y'all have it. So just to share it.
Yeah,
Mhm.
definitely.
Shoot.
Recently
Okay.
It was a road opener.
Okay.
And when I did it, well, I don't know if it's pertaining if I did stuff like this, but it's pertaining to my candle.
Okay.
And for the first half of it, it burnt to one side, and then it's like my wick moved to the other side of the candle. I washed it.
Okay. Was there anything surrounding the candle? Like I'm just trying to like kind of picture it. Was there anything around the candle? Did you have any crystals or pictures or anything like that, or did you call upon the corners or anything? Just to kind of give us an idea.
Okay, no, I did not call upon anyone.
Okay.
I just have a clear quart,
Okay.
and I have a jar for my gel.
Okay. And the wax that melted to one side, was it melting towards the jar or towards the clear quartz?
Clear quart.
Okay. 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 I'm sorry. Go ahead. Continue.
Okay, and then I let it burn because I still had one to watch it.
Right.
But then it level out, and then it moved to the other side again.
Okay. Was the flame tall or was it short?
It was taller once it moved to the other side
Okay.
again.
Okay.
It wasn't the same exact side.
Okay. Towards the clear quartz.
Yes, towards the clear.
Okay. All right. And after the candle was done burning, were there any remnants? Was there a lot of leftover wax, or did it burn clean?
It burned clean and with
Okay.
all the with all the herbs as well. I put herbs and oil on the candle
Okay.
to go
Okay.
clear to burn.
Okay. And you said that this candle was for a road opener, correct? Okay, so what I'm getting from this is that you should continue to do workings, but continue to do workings for positive outcomes, just to attract more positive energy, focus more on increasing positivity within these roads that you're wanting to open up toward, like for you. So that would be the next step. So the thing is that when you're doing a spell, your spell will basically speak to you. It will let you know what your next step should be, and it'll give you advice. So when the wax is kind of pouring towards, you had this clear quartz on one side, you had the jar on the other, that it was pouring more towards the clear quartz, it's giving you direction. What do you feel, Shar?
I feel like specifically with it was leaning towards the clear quartz. Is that right? That's what you said?
Yes.
Okay, I think specifically with it leaning towards the quartz, that tells me, aside from just needing to reinforce the positive intention behind it, I think that there needs to be some belief in self, and it needs a little bit more understanding that what you're putting out is you're actually going to receive it. Those roads are actually going to open for
Yes.
you. So not maybe if I do this spell, those roads will open. It is sure that they will, and you have to will and understand that they absolutely will happen for you. I think that's part of it with manifesting that road opening is understanding what you're asking for and that it's coming.
Mm-hmm. Being confident in the spell work that you do, being confident that you have the power within you to manifest anything that you desire. So those are really good signs.
Yeah, that's one thing I always say whenever it comes to manifesting. I say everything in my life is hard work plus brujeria. So.
Yes. Equals success.
Exactly.
Yes. Oh, definitely. Thank you for calling. Was there anything else that you wanted to know? Did we answer your question fairly? Uh-huh.
Pretty much that was the question, because I was kind of taken back by it because it's my first time doing it.
Oh, look at that.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Nice.
All I do is very, very good. But I've been reading and studying for over 5 years.
Wow.
I'm actually doing
Right. Right.
all my herbs, all my chemicals, all my oils, everything.
And look at that, how much knowledge you've gained from your first working. I mean, now you can say that you have knowledge in candle magics. You are familiar with oils. You're familiar with the herbs. You've already started creating a connection with the moon energy. So you're on the right path. You're going in the right direction. Congratulations.
Yes, congratulations and good fortune to you.
Yes.
Yep. Best of luck.
And things of the moon, I think were two things that I'm pretty hyped about the next.
Nice. Yeah, and moon water is really good for doing, you can actually do bath, like create baths with it, and you can bathe yourself in that moon water, and that gives you more energy of the goddess.
Ladies, if just take a moment for the benefit of our listeners. What exactly is moon water, and how do you make it?
Oh, that's DK, that's a good question.
I'm sure a lot of listeners are like, moon water? What's that?
Yeah, moon water. So moon water, you could take a jar, you could just take a clear glass jar. It doesn't have to be like a mason jar. I mean, I like to recycle a lot of things, so if I use any type of sauces that come in a jar, I'll make sure I cleanse them really well, while washing them as well as energetically cleansing them. Then you would go ahead and put some. Yes. Then you would go ahead and put water. I usually use spring water. You can also use rainwater. You can put this jar out. Yeah. Yes. You can put this jar out. You can collect your rainwater. If you want to add some blessed salt, you could add blessed salt to it. You could add moonstone. You could add quartz. You could add whatever crystals. And this is the thing, is that each one of us has our own way of doing things. So I always recommend that everybody make it their own way, because my magic will work for me, but it doesn't mean that my magic will work for everybody else. So you make it your own way, you put it out in the moonlight, and you let the moon bless the water. The next day, it is ready for use. It is now magical water.
Oh, that sounds awesome. That's not as complex as like the formula I've heard for holy water.
Oh.
You know, like putting a crystal in it, as well as you have to get like salt directly from the sea, and
Oh.
and do it overnight or something, and do some other preparation.
No, it's
Sort
your
of white light.
intention. It's your
Yeah.
intention. Your intention. I mean, you are your most powerful tool. So even if you write your affirmations out on a piece of paper and you put them underneath a jar of water, that water will absorb that energy. Water can be put to do anything. It is a clear form of energy that you can program it to do whatever it is that you want it to do, and it will pick up that energy. It'll pick up that vibration, and then you can incorporate it into your spell work. So water is an awesome tool. It's available to everybody, whether you want to collect it from a natural source or you want to collect it from your faucet.
Very true.
What do you think about what are your takes on moon water, Shar?
I think the moon water is an excellent tool, especially if you're using it for gathering it from a particular either new moon phase, full moon phase. I still have some moon water that was, I believe it was a full moon eclipse in January, or it was the one that fell on New Year's. And you save that and you can use it for workings later on. Sometimes we use them to cleanse and dress our candles as well, the moon water. But water is a conductor of energy. So anything that you put into water, it's going to absorb those energies.
Right. And we have a question here on YouTube from Mary Jane. She says, can the jar be closed or does it have to be open? So Mary Jane, the jar could be open or closed, whatever it is that you're feeling called to do. If you feel that that water is more open and receptive to receiving more energy, you could leave the lid off. You might have some things that end up floating around in it, but hey, that just gives it more ashe. So yeah, so that was a really good question. Thank you so much for calling. And were there any other questions that you had or anything? Oh, thank you.
We'll do our best.
Yeah, and we're here every Saturday, so if you want to listen in every Saturday, and you can call in, and if you come up with any other questions, this is a really great way to share knowledge, because there's a lot of people that are newer to the community or even have been practicing for a long time, and if they want to call in and share their knowledge or their advice or guidance, I mean, we welcome it. So yeah, thank you so much.
Oh,
of course. Of course.
Synchronicity's been pretty heavy in the weather lately. Yep.
Yes.
No doubt.
Definitely.
Blessings. Have a good night.
Yes, divine blessings to you. Good night.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay, that was cool. We don't often get callers here. But by all means, please feel free to do so if you want to join in our conversation by calling us at 312-985-7834. I also want to take a moment to mention, a couple of weeks ago, we had on the Malloway Brothers. They are opening a Witchcraft and Magic Grand Opening, which is their new store located at 1626 North Morse. That's going on right now, at this second. If you are in and around Rogers Park right now and you know how to get to Morse Avenue, there's a party going on, okay, at 1626 North, hold on, let me double check this. West Morse, 1626 West Morse. That's about, it's about a block walking west from the L station. That's not so far at all, it's easy to find. And our good friend Twyla, who is running Pagan Pride.
Oh, we got another call. We're popping today.
Oh, right.
We're popping today. Hey.
You wanna
I love it.
Yeah, sure. Hello, thank you for calling Q4.org.
Hello?
Hi.
Hi.
Oh, I know who this is. Hello, sister. Thank you for calling. So, are you calling with a question, my sister?
Yes, I do. And it's actually for Shar.
Yes.
Hi. Hello.
Yeah, I really love you guys. Please check out their botanica. It is the most amazing place. It's so chill. Like, just the love is there. And to see these ladies together in a community is just extremely beautiful. And yeah, and I started meeting them at vendors, at vending events, and vending on at their own shops. So, but seeing you guys, I was wondering, did you guys intentionally make working to attract your soul tribe, or how did you guys come together?
That is such a great question. And thank you for saying that about us and about the shop. I appreciate that. The other half of Gemmell, which is the botanica side of Ojo de Fortuna, is Tali. Tali Inks. She's an artist. She's a tattoo artist. You know Tali.
Yeah,
I
know Tali.
And she's my best friend too. And what Tali and I always say is that we manifested each other into our lives, and it was really not even coincidental. It was through the magic of social media. We were always on each other's Instagram saying, "Oh, I really love your witchy ways," and then eventually we decided that we should meet up, and we found right away. We started practicing together immediately because she needed assistance with a spell, and I was like, I think I can help you with that. And what happened was the way that we knew that we were meant to work together was we were used to our spell work working eventually, or taking some time. But the working that I did with Dolly, the first one that I did with her, came to fruition the very next day. And we had never really experienced anything happening that fast before. So because of that, we decided that we needed to work together. And the more we worked together, we found that even though we're from different cultural backgrounds, we have very similar paths, and we're raised or came up very similarly on our paths. So I think that's kind of where it started. And then everyone else sort of just fell into place. We all started meeting at my abuelita's house in her backyard, my grandma's house.
Oh my God, I love her. I love if you're listening, Grandma, I love you.
My grandma, you know my grandma loves you.
I love her so much. I love her grandma.
And that's what we talk about when we talk about community and family and comadre culture for brujas, for us. Specifically, it's that we come together and I will bring you to my grandma's house, and my grandma will read you and tell me whether or not I should mess with you and be friends with you or
Yes.
work with you. You know what I mean? And I don't have no fear of doing that. I'll bring my nieces around you. You bring your kids around me, and I know that I'm going to impart some good knowledge to them. So that's how our, as you say, our soul tribe or our brujas came together. We came together as what felt like family, and we treat each other like family, and we respect each other as such. And I think that's really how we were drawn together, if that's helpful. I don't know if that answers your question, but...
Yeah, It's like I say, your vibe attracts your tribe. So
Absolutely.
putting that vibration out there, you just when you have a vibration, a good energy going on within you, you attract that energy from other people around you, and that's when deep friendships begin. That's when people come into your life as blessings and not as lessons.
And that's right. I told my abuelita, my grandma, I was working with some new witches and she wanted to go meet them. So I took her to meet you, Nina,
Yes.
and your sister. And I brought my grandma because my grandma, I learned a lot of things from her, and she's the one who was like, I want to know who you're working with. So I, took her to meet you, and she fell in love with you. She wanted to
Yes.
adopt Nina.
She gave me she gave me a blessing. Like, she gave me a blessing, and you guys, the energy that I received from this blessing, her grandma's hands, Char's grandma's hands, literally that blessing lasted me for so long after that. And there were so many amazing things that happened, and I just felt such a peaceful energy that just from the blessing that I had received from her. And I am just so grateful to have met her. I'm so grateful that you brought her to the shop, Char. Thank you so much for sharing your grandma with me. I love her.
You're welcome. You're welcome anytime. I also wanted to mention, based on your question, it brought up something really interesting, which we know nothing is a coincidence ever.
No.
But just a week ago, tomorrow, a week ago, well, I guess a year and a week ago, it was Gemmell Bruja's 1-year anniversary, which we celebrated with you, Nina. And then afterwards, we brought everybody back to Grandma's house for coffee, and we had a little bonfire.
Oh,
Yeah, so right now we're celebrating our 2-year anniversary of Gemmell Bruja right now.
I want to go to one now.
Yes.
I love that.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
You want to come have coffee with Grandma? I'll take
I
Grandma.
want
let Grandma know.
to.
Yes.
I want to go.
Okay, let me explain something to you, okay? I grew up on Chicago's north side, okay? I am actually half Native American and half British, but I get mistaken for Spanish a lot, okay? But I grew up on the north side. If there's one thing I know about Latino culture, I was gonna say this too. It's like when you said you brought her over to meet your grandma, I was like, oh, your aunt or whatever. I was like, oh, I know you ate good that day. I know you did. If there's one thing I know about Latinos and Latino culture, is that's when you're down with their family.
Right. Right.
You ain't leaving the house until you've eaten.
Right. We're all well fed.
But not only that, that's another way that we found our brujas, because every time I went to go visit you, you offer me a plate, you offer me something to drink, and then we help to clean up.
Yeah.
And all of my brujas, they have similar costumbres, they have similar customs in that we show each other that hospitality. There's love. And there's vibration and
there's gratitude, yes.
Absolutely. There's
Yes.
gratitude that comes with the way that you treat people when you invite them into your sacred space.
Yes.
That's the same thing that we do at Ojo de Fortuna, and that's why people feel a certain way when they walk into the shop. It's not just a shop. When you walk into Ojo de Fortuna, you're walking into our home. We have a couch. We have a couch there, recliners, a little coffee table. We make coffee for you. If you want coffee, we got it. And it's not that we're a coffee shop or anything like that, but we invite you in to come and take a load off and take a breather if you need to realign yourself.
Yes, and we know how to give good hospitality. We welcome, when we welcome you into our space, into our homes, we welcome you. We make you feel welcomed. And that is I feel that that's something that we have to give thanks to our ancestors, to our elders for teaching us these things.
Absolutely.
Now,
Yes.
I'm kind of glad that you brought up this entire line of, this entire question, this entire line, because right before the show began, we were all just having kind of a chat right before the show was going to begin, and I was mentioning that. I was saying how, I am not pure Caucasian per se, and neither is anyone in the room here. And when I first began this magical path, it was a little off-putting because it seems like everybody's playing up their British, Celtic, Irish, and Viking ancestries, and none of that applies to me. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So there's a number of people out there. Every culture has their own form of magic. Every culture has their own shamans. Everybody. There's always psychic people in every culture.
The
We're
traditions.
all human. Right, but people get too focused on the cultural trappings. They get too focused on that. Sometimes you need a witch who needs to get her hands dirty, She doesn't need to delve into somebody else's culture to make things happen. You know, and I
Right.
think there's a lot more of that should be like stepping up and coming out in the culture.
I think that there's a lot of power in working with your own cultural upbringing and your own ancestry. There's a lot of delving into when it comes to magic. There's a lot of things that get borrowed. You know, I practice both my traditional ancestral spirituality customs and superstitions even that we were raised with, but also I'm a student of Wicca, and Wicca is not something that is necessarily part of my heritage, but
Right.
I understand my Wicca teachings because there's as far as the elemental aspect of it, I was taught to respect the earth. I was taught on how you bring the different elements into your home. My grandmother doesn't read tarot. She can pour you a glass of water and look into this glass of water and divine with your spirits and commune with her spirits in order to pass along messages that you need to hear. And that's not something a lot of people know about Grandma, but now it's on the radio. But that's something where, you know, I learned to respect the elements and to bring them into my home in that way. And then when it comes to connecting to that path, you know, I find that connection. So there are many intersections and many crosshairs, but I think the power is really discovering for yourself what works for you and what your guides are saying works for you. It is really easy to get hung up on the lineage or the...
And there's nothing wrong with being proud of your heritage, whoever you are, you know, and there, yeah,
Exactly.
yeah,
Exactly.
yeah. Magic really is techniques of doing things. Like when you get involved in chaos magic, that's not completely steeped in any one tradition. It's about using specific techniques to create specific results. Doesn't matter who you are. You just have to know how to meditate, how to focus, and how to push that energy into such a way where it creates the coincidences, per se, that you need in your life.
Yes, and you know, Miriam and we actually had a really interesting conversation the other day, right, sister? We were talking about how we have spirits that work with us, that we actually will feel a calling toward a certain culture, even though that culture is not something that is within us. The spirits working with us use our capsules to feed them in some way. So if we crave a certain food, or if we feel that we have to go to a certain, you want to go and visit a certain country, that country or that culture might not be necessarily a part of your bloodline, but that's not to say that you do not have a spirit that works with you, a spirit guide, just a spirit working with you at the moment, or a spirit that is working in your teachings, that you should still connect with that energy and you should still feed that spirit what it's needing to continue to help you to grow.
I think that's a beautiful point, especially when it comes to respecting and working with spirits or energies that come from different cultures and from different cultural backgrounds. And that's honestly the difference between appropriating a practice and respecting a practice, is that you understand that you're not taking that into yourself. It does not become a part of you. It's not suddenly a part of your blood because a spirit works with you that's from a different background, but there's something about you that's resonant with that spirit,
Right.
and you respect that boundary.
And you're not false flagging, but you're showing love, you're showing respect, you're acknowledging another tradition that might not necessarily be yours, but if you have a passion for it, and if it's teaching you something, and if it's benefiting you in some way, whether it be spiritually, energetically, I completely agree that you should definitely embrace that, go with it, and F what the haters say. So were there any other questions that you had, sis?
Oh, no, thank you.
Okay, is Jonathan with you? Tell him I said hi and thank you. Thank you so much for calling. Hi.
Jigo says what's up.
Jigo said what up.
What's up, bro?
All right.
I'm so
Thank you,
glad that
Miriam.
you called in and we got to talk to you.
Yes, thank you
much.
so much for calling, and I'll talk to you soon.
And thanks for bringing up that topic. We wanted to
Yes.
actually touch on that.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's almost like you knew.
All right. Blessings.
Blessings.
Okay, and then we do have a question here
Oh,
on YouTube.
We do.
Yes, we have a question here. So they asked, does Gemmell la Bruja do phone readings?
No, I do not. I prefer to be able to connect with someone in person. But if you do have any questions specifically about readings, I would advise that you can either email me at chicagobrujas with an S at the end at gmail.com, or message me directly on Instagram or Facebook, which on both I'm Gemmell la Bruja, QUEMALABRUJA. Gemmell la Bruja, and we can speak directly about how we can connect, but I do really prefer the personal connection of face-to-face. I do sometimes do video sessions or mentorships or readings. So just message me and I'll be happy to respond back to you.
And that question was actually from Sharon Gabay. So thank you so much for your question, Sharon.
Yes, thank you, Sharon.
All right. Now, I just want to take a moment out there to give a shout out to a decent, worthwhile organization you may want to check out called Childhood Fractured. It is a free coffee shop located on the corner of Irving Park Road and Jansen. That's at 1432 West Irving Park. And basically what they do is, their mission is to create a positive atmosphere, to create art and sexual positivity for all you over 18 adults out there. The mission of Childhood Fractured is to raise awareness about childhood sexual abuse and healing, which basically is something very important to a lot of people out there. So please give to Childhood Fractured. They are in the middle of a pledge drive, and you can find them at childhoodfractured.com, or you can call them at 773-360-8300. All right, so that being said, so moving on to the next thing.
Yes, to the next.
Yeah. So, for the benefit of our listeners out there who are not necessarily familiar with this particular culture, why don't we just start from the basics here? Gemmell, what exactly is a bruja? Or what is brujeria?
A bruja is such a big question. A bruja is specifically someone, most particularly from Latinx culture, that dives into their own ancestral practices and uses usually gifts that are passed down, and it's also knowledge that is passed down from their elders, and it might not necessarily be blood relatives, but it could be. And a lot of the time, they're healers, but they're also ones that use different tools to manifest their reality. And a lot of the way that you would explain a witch is really similar. People who call themselves brujas now didn't always do so, or our elders necessarily didn't. It was actually used as a term, a slur, or a term to persecute.
Oh, I'd imagine, yeah.
Absolutely. So the fact that we call ourselves brujas now and we practice brujeria.
I mean, even in the English-speaking world, calling a woman a witch is not necessarily considered, flattering.
Absolutely.
It doesn't mean that you're too smart for your own good, or you're really insightful, or you pick up on stuff, or you have a lot of experience. No, it's always just you're a mean old woman.
And I always say, and some people agree with me, some people disagree with me, but I always say that it's not the words that give definition, it's the actions of the words that give the meaning of the word. So taking this word back, taking it from when it was used to call somebody, basically calling somebody out their name, we are now using these words to empower ourselves. We are empowering these words with our actions and showing people what we're really about. And a lot of us, we do fundraisers, we give back to other communities, and by doing so, we are creating bridges. That way we can slowly end this hate and this this ugliness that separates us. All of you guys have that power and that capability to show the world what a real bruja, what a real witch is.
Mm-hmm. And, I'm sorry.
And if I just might make a suggestion to all the brujas out there listening, and all the witches and mages and magic users and whatever else, whatever title you have, right now, it might be a good time if you just want to focus on a tornado heading towards Florida. Mar-a-Lago would be a pretty decent segue if you want to turn that tornado in a different direction.
So it's a hurricane, no?
Or a hurricane.
Yeah, it's a hurricane.
Hey, there's a lot of wind, rain, and
Whatever it
destruction
is.
involved.
Whatever natural disaster it is.
Yeah, I mean, the majority of people in Florida don't necessarily need to suffer.
No.
There's a little side travel, a little side route, a little shortcut. Just go through Mar-a-Lago. I heard it's full of bed bugs anyway. No one's going to miss it.
Oh, yeah.
I know, I'll be lighting a candle later.
Yes. Thank you, DK.
Thank you.
American. He's one of me.
Okay, we are coming back.
Okay. Hey guys, you are tuning in to Q4.org radio, the station that creates beauty and defends it with magic and brujeria.
That's right. Better watch the P's and Q's.
You better watch it.
Thank you. You are listening to the 158th episode of Magic Radio Chicago. We are streaming live on August 31st of this year of 2019. And if you can believe it, Nina, in about a couple of weeks, a little over a week and a half maybe, this is going to be, the show will be 5 years old.
Yeah, look at that.
It was 5 years ago that the show started. I'm still freaking out.
I think we're going to be celebrating our 1 month anniversary soon, huh?
Yeah, so, yeah. Welcome to the team, Nina.
DK's longest relationship. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
I think you're onto something there. You know? Now that I think about it, yeah, there we go. But it's a labor of love. No one's throwing money at me, just something to do.
Congratulations.
Well, thank you, and congratulations on opening your new store. That is going to be so awesome, and it's really good that Pilsen has a little more magical presence in there.
Absolutely.
There are brujas and other kinds of magical personalities that do exist in and around Pilsen, but I mean, Pilsen's a very unique area. I think it deserves to be saved and cultivated.
I when the first time that I went to go and see Ojo de Fortuna's shop, it was my first time in Pilsen. Like when Shar was telling me where it was located. I don't know if it was Shar or Tali that was telling me where it was located. I was like so confused. I'm like, I don't know where it's at. But thank the divine that we have GPS, because I typed it in on my phone. and yeah, I got there, and you guys, I love the area, and I love, I just felt like a big sense of just like Latino pride. And there was that lady sitting outside, and she was like vending her the carts and stuff, the food carts that we see that when they have like the chicharron with the Valentin and the limon,
Elotes
the elote.
Yeah. Actually, she's usually in that area specifically, and we told her, hey, we're gonna have so many people here.
Yeah.
First, can you come and stay on the corner here? And usually when we do events, it's always the same woman too, because she lives nearby. She usually comes through, and we let her know when we're going to be having events so she can post out on our corner.
That's awesome. And you guys had a piñata too for the kids. I thought
We always
that was
do stuff for them. We
awesome.
love the kids.
I love that.
Now, Nina, just to pull us back just a little bit, while we were on musical break, I understand that some people had some questions.
Oh,
for our
yeah.
live feed.
Yes. So we are live here on YouTube, and we did get a couple of questions. So I know one of them was... Let's see. One of them was actually for me. This is Debbie Dunaway. She said, Nina, do you do phone readings, or do you do readings over the phone? And actually, to answer your question, Debbie, I do not do readings over the phone. I actually choose, and I actually like doing them through email. I know it sounds kind of crazy, but I like doing them through email because I get to send you pictures of all your cards. I get to send you a breakdown of everything that, all of the guidance and the answers to your questions and everything, and it works out great because when I do a reading, you will have this information to go back and read, whether it's a week later, a month later. You don't lose this reading. You can even print this reading out, and you can save it in your journal, you can save it in your book of shadows, and you can always go back to it, and you can even date it and look back on it like, oh, okay, like I remember this was going to take place, and this is happening right now. now, and what was the guidance that I was told that how I should get out of the situation. And it's actually a really great way to keep that information, because even when I go and get readings done with my godfather, I always bring a notebook and I always bring a pen, and sometimes I'll even record my readings because I like to have that to play it back for that information, just in case I forget something, because there's so much information that is given through readings. There's so much information. So if you guys are wanting to get a reading with me, you guys can actually go to my Etsy shop. It is Spiritual Vibes Shop. If you guys put on Etsy, Spiritual Vibes Shop, there's actually a listing to purchase a reading from me, and I will go ahead and email you your results. I let you ask 3 questions, any questions you would like, and a lot of times the readings actually are longer than 3 questions because I give you so much in-depth answers, and a lot of times I will give you recommendations of different spells that you can do, different crystals you should use, or even if I am called to create a talisman for you, something that you can use as an energy talisman to wear on you. And we go from there. And if you're needing spiritual guidance, I also offer that as well.
Thank you so much, Nina.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I'm kind of glad to hear that. I remember, like, because I'm in, I don't know if people notice, but I'm kind of like older than Nina.
Only by a year.
At least a clear decade or more.
Oh my God.
Yeah. But my point is, I'm old enough to remember the early '90s when you had all those phony TV psychics on. Remember those?
Oh yeah,
infomercials?
Miss Cleo. Call in to Miss Cleo.
You know Miss Cleo went to jail. And
Yeah.
she didn't see that coming.
Oh no, she didn't see
No.
She didn't see that one.
No, but that always cracked me up when that's when I began this magical mystery tour, and that always cracked me up when I'd see them saying, the energy that comes through the telephone is more important than being in the room with a client, and that never made any sense to me.
No, it doesn't.
No, and actually, I actually agree with your email because, like, I think we've all learned that by now. I mean, you might not think it's like, more personal than being on the phone, but
Right.
I think emails have more focus in them.
Oh yeah.
We,
and I
we
asked
focus,
for
we re-edit
yeah.
ourselves, we say exactly what we need to say,
Right.
and we're not always understood either, because
Right.
reading, texting does that. Reading a line of words doesn't necessarily always translate the emotion of what's said.
Correct.
So a lot of people get ticked off because they think you're saying something mean, and you're actually just being matter of fact.
Right, exactly. And there's actually information that I do ask. Like I do ask for your birthday. I ask for your birth name. If the reading is in regards to anybody else, whether it be a relationship or anything, if it's including somebody else, I ask for their information as well. And sometimes I'll even have clients send me photos of themselves or the person that they're asking about. And that alone, like, there's so much energy that I can pick up off of a photo itself. And it's really easy. I mean, it's easy to get this, like, pick up on this energy when you have things such as birthdays, full names, and pictures. Like, there's a lot that you can actually pick up off of those things that you provide me with. So.
Now, what is your specialty, Kemala Bruja? You mentioned earlier that you do the tarot. Do you do any other forms of divination?
I utilize the tarot for divination. I've just started to do some work into mediumship, and my forte, though, my gift, my thing is my ability to lucid dream and vivid dream and have prophetic dreams.
That's not easy. People aren't aware that there are techniques you can learn to help make that happen.
Yeah, and that's the thing, is that I've been lucid dreaming and astral projecting and traveling in the dream realm since I can remember my dreams. So since I have any kind of memory, when I was a very small child. And I didn't realize until I got older that wasn't something that everyone could do. I thought everybody was able to move around, make decisions, and manipulate and change things in their dreams. And it wasn't until I got older that I realized that it was a skill that people actually tried to hone. And now what I do is I find ways to coach and to assist other people to finding their abilities, especially when it comes to dreaming, dream interpretation, and specifically using herbs and using candles to assist with connecting with that ability or with any inclination that you might have to do so. I actually found out a while ago now that my family has lineage that goes back to a very small itty bitty island just off of the coast of Italy called Corsica. And in Corsica, they have a type of witch specifically that's known as a dream hunter or dream walker. And they are known to have abilities in that place.
Really?
That they're able to move around, manipulate, lucid dream, astral project. And they call them dream hunters because when they had a problem with somebody, they could hunt you down in your dreams.
Interesting. Okay.
So, and then I found out, and this was, my family, the portion of the family emigrated from there maybe in the 1800s. So I had to do some searching way back when, and I felt that was no coincidence that I have the ability to lucid dream, and that's a part of my
Yeah,
heritage.
because it's in your DNA, like that from your ancestors. That and I always tell people this because I work with my ancestors in my practice. I work very closely with my ancestors, and I've had questions from people like, how do you work with your ancestors if you don't know who your ancestors are? So here's my thing is when you're working with them, whether you are petitioning or asking them to help you or guide you in some way, or even if you're doing an offering, when I am doing any working with my ancestors, I always say to all my ancestors, both known and unknown, and like, the thing is that even if you don't know the names, if you can't call them upon, call upon them by name, this blood is still within you. Their energy is still within you. So if you know yourself, you know your ancestors.
Yeah, and adding personification or specific identities or personalities to each of those ancestors is something that we need as a tool, as humans and as witches, as brujas. But the reality is that all energy is transmuted once they pass, once we pass. So that is all returned back to your bloodline, back into your DNA. So you might need to call on someone specifically by name for your own personal reasons, but by saying my ancestors, known and unknown, you're calling back to the same stream of energy
Yes.
that brings forth your people.
Yes.
So I don't know. I think that's one thing too. I always say, people, I get that all the time. People always ask me, how do I start working with my ancestors? How do I get to know them? And I say, start with a white candle, a single white candle. Cleanse that candle. You don't even have to dress it. You just designate that candle specifically as a light and a beacon to the energies of your ancestors, and a glass of water, because water is a conductor of energy.
Yes.
And because it's known too that the spirits need some kind of offering to quench a thirst as well.
Yes.
And that's the simplest thing. You can write a petition, or you can just sit and ask specifically for those energies that your ancestor energies that want to work with you, that want to guide you, because they have to be willing as well.
Yes, and creating a space in your home, dedicating a space in your home to your ancestors. You can dedicate, even if it's a small little corner table. It doesn't have to be a big shrine or anything like that. If you have a small space, if you have a studio apartment, you're just creating a space where you go to pay them homage, to give them respects, to give them gratitude, because our ancestors have struggled a lot for us to have the lives that we have. And we might complain about, certain situations that we got going on in our lives, or we might think that we don't have it that great, but I guarantee you that your ancestors have sacrificed a lot for you to have the life that it is that you have. So knowing that, it is always important to give them gratitude, to give them acknowledgement. And what I do in my personal practice, and here again, this is not part of my cultural beliefs or my traditions, but I do burn ancestor money to help to elevate the spirits of my ancestors so that they can have fortune in the afterlife, and to empower them so that they have the energy to keep working with me and to keep helping me, and feeding them that energy. It makes them rich in the spiritual realm.
You make me, a question leaps to my mind anyway.
Yes.
Okay, so you just talked about setting up an ancestral shrine. Now, my question is there any similarities between Brujeria and Santeria? Because Santeria is like the, Spanish.
Do you want to
speaking
get
form of
that?
Buddha.
You want to get that, or I get that?
And
You get that. You
they're
get that because you're the guest. Look, she's like, I want that.
I know
She's like, I want that one.
I know that Santeros are very, very devoted to their ancestors, and they set up a shrine,
Yes.
and a lot of the same things
Yes.
that people do when they practice voodoo.
Yeah.
Now, so, Gemmell Bruja, what would you say to that?
I would say that's very much like someone saying, what's the similarities and differences between paganism and Wicca, right? Wicca is under more the general sense of it. Wicca is under the umbrella of paganism. So Santeria falls under the umbrella of brujeria. You might be a bruja, you might practice brujeria, but that does not make you a santero or santera. That's a
Yes.
one specific cultural practice that requires much initiation and a specific guidance, and there are laws and there's secretive
Yes.
and very protected knowledge that's necessary to be
Believe me,
initiated.
in 5 years, I've had the hardest time trying to find somebody who practices Santeria who want to be on my show. And the people who do are not necessarily too thrilled about whether or not I want to represent them here, you know?
Well, and there's a reason for that too. And specifically, Santeria is a religion that comes through the African diaspora. That's something that had to be practiced in secret for many years by risking death, risking injury, risking all of these different ways, through colonization that you would be harmed for practicing your traditional African spirituality or your ancestral practices. So this is something that became this beautiful, beautiful joining of multiple cultures, and some of it was to mask specifically those original practices. So that's why you might have some difficulty finding somebody who wants to come on here and talk about that, because the way that religion and that practice has survived is through secrecy and is through protecting one another. That's why you have houses, and those houses are on lockdown always. And it's a very beautiful thing, but that's how they keep the culture alive. Even now with people like myself or like other brujas that we feel good coming out of the broom closet and being able to express that now, there's still specific sects and parts of brujeria under that umbrella, including Santeria, Lukumi, that Ifa, where it's part of their power to keep that in secret and keep that private.
Yeah.
There's even histories of people who have interviewed santeros or people outside of the religion that for books or things like that the santeros gave them entirely incorrect information.
Yeah, to
no.
to mislead them. Yes, yes.
Specifically because the power in that religion is it's the secret, but it's also like that bloodshed and the blood that kept everyone together.
Yes,
So-
the sacrifices. And there have been a lot of people that have studied the religion and then have used it to try to profit from it. And they used it in such a way that was it becomes very disrespectful to the deities that they work with, to the beliefs, to to everything that all the sacrifices that were made. It becomes very disrespectful, and there's actually a lot of celebrities that are initiated that don't talk about it, but you see them come out with these music videos where they're dressed in all yellow or they're dressed in all blue, and they're representing certain Orishas, but they don't talk about it, but for those who practice that religion, they know, it's like you pick up on that energy, you pick up on that, you're like, oh, I got you, I'm right there with you, boo, I got you.
Mia, Kamala, I just want to point out something for our audience too, because both of you have tapped on this, and I know what you're talking about, but I just want to make sure our audience is up to date with us. What exactly is the diaspora and the Orishas? Kamala brought up the diaspora, and you just brought up the Orishas. Now, what are those?
You want that one?
You go ahead, you take it.
So these are deities a lot like they are deities that you would consider them gods and goddesses, but we don't necessarily call them that. They're Orishas. There are Orishas. So when I guess there's not.
What's an Orisha?
An Orisha is a spirit. It's a spirit. Yeah. So it's a spirit,
It's
and
more
each
than
one.
just somebody's ghost.
Yeah. Oh no. It's far more. It's like a deity. Like
It's
exactly
not like your
like
Uncle Bob who passed away a few years ago. Or anything,
no. No, it's a deity. It's a deity, and each one is different. Each one assists in different things. Each one carries a different energy. Each one carries a different teaching, and there's teachings that are with them together, and it's very. I think we'd have to have like a whole show, and then
Oh,
I
no
would
doubt,
I would
no
need to
doubt.
see like exactly what I can talk about.
That's, you know, I'm
That's
glad
look. That's why you're like you got this.
you know, but I am glad you guys brought that up because I did have one particular possibility for somebody, a Santeria expert on my show about 4 years ago. And I really had to hesitate. I really had to. And I'm sure I probably ruffled some feathers that way. But it was largely because, well, first of all, I mean, he was just this middle-aged guy, not even remotely Latino. But he was an actual student. He was an apprentice under somebody who was in the community and practiced and taught Santeria. He was actually known to be this guy's apprentice, and that's fine. But then, like, when I had talks with him, it was like he kept asking me like what I think magic is and what I think other people think magic is, and when you
He was flipping the interview.
yeah,
He was interviewing
well, no,
you?
he wasn't on. This is before I even did the show.
Oh, okay. Oh, I thought
This
he
is
was
before I was
here.
ever even considering being on the show. So I'd met this guy before, and when he was asking me these questions, when I got back to him, his whole take on it was, well, how well do they live? Are they really making any kind of money? Well, how magic are they? How powerful can they be? And I thought he totally didn't get the point. And I saw him with a client once, and my heart just sank. I just actually, to be honest, my stomach was turning, because I was in an occult store, and this kid came in. He was a fairly nice kid, but he lived in a really bad area of town, like bad. I mean,
Right.
on a regular. He was a college student too, nerdy type, very closeted, very, just quiet, reserved, yeah. But on a regular basis, he had to dodge bullets,
Oh,
or at least watch shots fired in his own hood, and it was really getting to him. But he was very psychic, and he was very like aware of stuff, and he was seeing stuff in his hood, and he was also seeing stuff around his house, and he, I think the stress of everything, that not only is his senses opening and this whole new world is opening, but the world he currently lives in is just dangerous as hell to him.
yeah.
And it
And
was
especially if he's intuitive like that, or has that type
Yeah.
of awareness, because you guys, and like for some of you guys are not from Chicago, so some of you guys wouldn't know like what it's like, but some of our areas, some of our neighborhoods are really bad. We have a lot of ghettos around here, and there are a lot of neighborhoods where people are shot and they're killed, and these spirits continue to walk these streets. So if you're in the hood and you have this intuition, or you pick up on these energies, or you can see spirit, or you can feel spirit, you will find a lot of spirit activity going on these streets, not just with the crime, but also with the spirits. Like there's a lot of
there's a lot
Yeah.
of paranormal activity
Oh,
in
yeah.
the city. It really lends to that, to ghostly activity. But just to wrap up my story here, what I'm saying is, so there's this kid, obviously a lot of stress, becoming very psychically aware, and he was on the verge. I mean, he was crying. He was in the store, actually having a meltdown.
Aw.
He felt so helpless, and a lot of us there had some very good advice for him. And I was listening. We all were throwing out ideas, and a lot of it was really good ideas. Trying to be very helpful. Not this dude. Not Mr. Joe Santeria. He was like, this was his time to shine. He kind of got in front of this kid, made sure the kid couldn't hear what anyone else was saying, put his arm around him. He's like, come here, son, I'll hook you up. Don't worry. You pay my fees. I'll do these spells for you. I'll do that stuff for
Oh,
you.
yeah.
And I was looking at him like, yeah, you're the real deal, huh?
Yeah.
Like when I see someone in pain, I don't think this is my time to shine.
Right.
Let alone try to bilk him for money.
Yeah.
You know?
No, it's never when we are like, when our gift is to help others, whether it be through a hard situation, through a difficult time, through teachings or anything like that. Like for any good practitioner, witch or anything, any practitioner that I know, this is not a time that we all of a sudden put on our Superman cape and we're like, dun dun dun, dun to the rescue. You know, like
I'll save you, ma'am.
Yeah, I will save you. I have all the answers, and you just got to pay $150, and we will get you cleansed and ready to. You know, we don't do that. Like that's. And if you guys ever go into a place, whether it be a botanica, a shop, a cult store, and whatever it is,
New Age store.
a new age store, and you guys are approached like this, beware of these places, because there are a lot of people, especially right now, that magic and witchcraft is becoming it's becoming a trend, and a lot of people will use this as a means to profit off of, and which is another reason, like how Shar was explaining with how Santeria, a lot of the practices are kept in secret because like obviously the ancestors and the spirits knew that we were going to come to a time, a day and an age when people were going to start to use witchcraft and metaphysics as a way of putting money in their pocket and buying a new car and all this other stuff.
Or even worse, tricking someone and stringing someone along
Yes.
in order to get them to give you the money to do that.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the thing is that we know, we like I don't know if it's I don't know exactly what it is. I can't say it's necessarily like our practices of witchcraft, but I think this is where more of our culture comes from, is because Latinos have always been very hardworking, and we know how hard people work for that dollar that they earn.
Absolutely.
You know, and we don't take advantage of that, because we also know that the universe knows that we're hustling somebody, and guess what? You might have hustled somebody for $1. You're gonna be broke and behind $5 for that $1 that you hustled.
Absolutely. And you know what? Anyone who knows me or any of my regular clients know I am no stranger to turning down a reading. I consult with my spirits and my guides on every single reading to make sure that I have the go-ahead to do it. And if they say no, I can't do it. It
Right.
doesn't happen too frequently, but also I won't take advantage of somebody who is desperate or is in need. For instance, just to put that out there, I had somebody come in recently that told me that they had been to many different practitioners recently, and they keep bouncing around looking for a cleansing, looking for a reading, looking for the answer. And I told them, I can't do that for you then. I'm not going to be someone who just takes your money and allows you to just come here. I'm like, the reason you keep bouncing around is because you're searching for something outside of yourself that you need to find within you.
Yes.
No one is going to have the magic potion, have the magic spell, do the gran limpia, and do all of these things for you that it's going to fix your life or fix whatever your situation is. The reality is you need to look within and find out what it is you need to do for yourself. Is it therapy? Is it a change in lifestyle? Whatever it is, there's something that you need to find for yourself that you're looking everywhere else. And I'm not going to take advantage of you and take your money right now, because I know that's what's going on with you by looking at you and by you telling me your story.
Right.
And I think that's important that you can discern that. And I mean, like you said, we know people work hard for their money, and a lot of people that same person could have gone into any other shop and kept on going into shops after that, still looking for that answer. And there's plenty of people who'd be happy to just keep on taking.
Yeah, and you know, some people will keep going to other shops, not looking for the truth, but looking to hear what it is that they want to hear.
Say that again.
I was just
Say
gonna
that
say
again.
too, yeah.
Yes.
Say that
you
again, girl.
will go from shop to shop if you do not hear what it is that you're wanting to hear from a reading. And you know, and I've had people come like over and over, like wanting answers to the same questions, and it's like, you know, we already been through this, we already did this, I've already told you. You're just because you come a week later or 2 weeks from now and you come in and you ask the same question, my answer is not going to change, because you and especially if you haven't changed what it is that you're doing. If this is a you problem and you haven't changed the vibration and the energy that you're putting out there, do not expect to be doing the same thing and all of a sudden you get a different result, because it doesn't work that way. We give you regimens, we give you guidance, we give you advice, we tell you what you need to stay away from, what you need to do more of, and if you're not doing any of these things, that answer is never going to change, whether you go from botanica to an occult store to a metaphysical shop to a new age shop. It doesn't matter where you go. Like, and you know, and if you get somebody that will pick up on how thirsty you are for this answer,
Yes.
they'll give you that answer
Yes.
because they're a hustler.
Exactly.
That's true. There's a lot. There's so many like red flags that you should look out for as somebody looking to find services. You know, like one thing that leaps to my mind is that occasionally you're going to run into an astrologer or a tarot reader or something like that. You know, with one of these storefront shops, and they will tell you you're cursed. In fact, your family was cursed, and not only that, but this curse will follow you and you follow your kids, but they have the answer. You know, they have the answer. Keep paying their fee. Keep doing what they tell you to do, and also keep coming by and cleaning their house every now and then for free, and they get the spells in motion that will free you from all this. And that's somebody who wants your money and has zero respect for you.
Not only that, I'm sure we have other practitioners that offer services listening too. And that's one thing that you don't be afraid to discern whether or not you want to continue helping someone. When someone keeps on asking you for help, but then they're not listening or paying attention to the messages that you're getting, they're disrespecting your gifts.
Yes.
And you need to be aware and don't be afraid to turn somebody down and say, hey, listen, I did my best to work with you, but unfortunately maybe my style isn't for you, or maybe there's a reason that we can't work together, but I gave you my piece and I'm giving you energy and I'm offering this to you, you know, so you take with it what you want to do with it, but you know, don't come back to me asking the same. Anyone who knows me knows I'm so quick to be like, don't come back here asking the same questions.
And that's the thing is, and we're Latinas. Like, come on now.
Don't
we
ask me
ain't got no hesitation, girl.
It's true. It's true.
But okay, so back to do you guys want to answer this moon water question? There's a moon water question. So somebody wants to know, how do you use moon water in a bath, in a spiritual bath?
I always pour in my moon water. My recipe always includes agua florida.
Yes.
But specifically, if we're just talking about moon water, when I'm putting that in the bath, I'm allowing my body and imagining that my body is absorbing that moon energy as, you know, I feel it over my skin. And that's something that I'm taking into myself. I'm taking in and reflecting on the divinity within myself. And I'm using it, that energy to power up too, to bring me back into my power.
Yes.
So there's no specific way to do a baño. There's a million baños out there. But if you're talking about a moon bath, I would always stick with some selenite. If you want to add some crystals around the edge, don't put it in the water because it will dissolve.
Selenite will dissolve, and
it
it's
will
actually
dissolve.
toxic. It's one of the toxic stones. So that's one that if you create an elixir using selenite, you definitely do not want to ingest that crystal. And also, if you use moonstone, that's another stone that is actually toxic.
Moonstone is toxic?
Yeah, it's toxic for, it's actually really bad for you to ingest. It's like labradorite too. And actually keeping it against your skin, if you sweat, that stone, like you absorb the energy, but if you have a toxic stone against your skin, ladies, if you're keeping crystals in your bras, do not keep labradorite or moonstone or selenite in your bra. Please do not, because you will poison yourself.
Okay, or put it in a sachet or something that you're not going to sweat through.
Yes, not
And
an
then-
organza, but a sachet.
If you want to avoid a really bad case of toxi boob, don't do that.
Boob.
Don't do that.
So you can add selenite, but don't put it in the bath. Put it away where it's not going to touch you. And then I always start with white candles, especially if we're connecting with moon energy.
Yes.
You can also do silver.
Yes. Oh, I love a silver candle.
Yeah.
Ah, yes.
What's your suggestions for a moon bath?
So my suggestions for a moon bath is I like to steep a lot of herbs. So I will actually take different herbs depending on what I'm called to. Like if you're wanting to have more self-love or nurturing or healing or cleansing, whatever the case may be, you can take your moon water, put it into a pan, put it on the stove on a low temperature, and then you can put all your herbs, whichever herbs it is that you want to incorporate into this baño or this bath. You put your herbs in there, let the herbs turn this water into a tea, and then you would strain that and then add that water into your bath water. You can add bubbles if you want to make it, or a bath bomb even, to just, bring on more of that ambiance, that energy. You guys can make this bath your own, and I even put clear quartz inside of the tub with me, because clear quartz will amplify the energies of the bath that you're creating for yourself. And yeah, adding Florida water too. So Florida water, even getting out of a bath, if you take some Florida water and you pour it onto your hands, wipe the top of your head, also known as your ori. You would cleanse the top of your head, your hands, the back of your neck, and the bottoms of your feet. And
I do it every day after
you?
every single bath. Absolutely,
Yes.
exactly like you said. Top of your head, back of your neck,
Yep.
bottom of your feet. And
Yep.
I always do I
Your-
cleanse my talismans or my jewelry that I wear every day. Also, I wear Florida.
yes.
I never skip it.
Yes. Yeah. There's actually a meme where it's like, oh girl, you smell good. Like, what you wearing? It's just like Florida water.
Yeah, exactly. I had somebody tell me that the other day. They're
Yeah.
like, I smell Florida water. I knew it was you. I was like, yes, thank you.
Now, I have a question. Now, if somebody was interested in brujeria, I mean, how does one go about becoming one? I'm sure that's kind of a broad question, but like, for instance, you're saying in Santeria that you definitely need to apprentice under a master. Is there something similar in brujeria?
No, it really isn't. Brujeria is something that you learn for yourself, and a lot of the time it's passed down from elders or from
Yeah.
grandparents or aunts. In my experience, there is a bruja community, very prevalent one in Chicago, very prevalent one in Pilsen. That's why we're not in Pilsen for no reason.
I was gonna say right here, Ojo de Fortuna.
Oh, other Fortuna,
Yes.
exactly. I mean, if that's something that you're interested in, we welcome people into Ojo de Fortuna all the time to learn a little bit more about it. We teach
You have
different things.
classes.
We
Yeah,
teach
you just
classes
did a
as well.
class like not that long ago, right? A
Yeah,
tarot
I
class.
just finished my 4-week tarot class, but we're also going to be teaching candle dressing classes in the
Nice.
future and things like that. But there's other brujas in Pilsen that they hold meditations in the community garden. They hold community healing circles and mercados. We have many shops nearby. Right there on 21st, it is Bruja Central on 21st. A lot of people don't know that. There's many different indigenous practitioners and Latino practitioners right there on that strip of street, right on 21st, between like Blue Island and just past Damon. That whole strip, there's nothing but brujas there. And that's the thing, if you look for it, especially you come look for us, you know, you're seeking that knowledge, we're always more than welcome to share that knowledge and do that. But the thing is, when it comes to brujeria, it's something inside of yourself, it's something you learn from family, and it's something that you can seek out, but you have to learn it directly from someone else. There's no
Someone more experienced.
there's no
basically.
specific books like that say, oh, this is how you're a
Yeah.
bruja, you know?
Yeah, there's not.
Um,
And then there's things other than learning how to do workings and things like that. There are other things such as integrity, things that are needed to be learned as just even morally as a person, and in order to really classify yourself as a bruja, to really classify yourself as something that, even a witch. I mean, I know that there's a lot of people that call themselves witches, but there's so much more that goes into being a witch than just knowing how to do a candle working or knowing how to read, you know, divination or knowing how to use crystals, or there's so much more that goes along with this. If you have poor integrity, if your morality is bad, like if you don't have any respect toward nature, if you litter, you are not there. I don't care what anybody says, you are not a powerful witch if you are disrespecting Mother Nature. I know. Stop littering. You know how many people, especially here in the city, you know how many times I see somebody throwing a White Castle bag out their window?
Jeez.
Like, girl, pull over and put it in the trash can. Recycle, reduce, reuse, recycle.
So, but the thing is that when it comes to being a bruja, aside from recycling, when it comes to being a bruja, an important component is community, and the way in which we hold community and hold space for one another. It was unfortunate for me, like first coming out of the broom closet and wanting to know more about the Chicago pagan community. I learned a lot that there was like a lot of jadedness about community for some reason. And me being a baby
It
bruja.
happens.
Yeah.
I was a baby bruja and I'm like, oh, I see all these
Everybody, let's
witches.
just love
I'm
each
like,
other.
yeah,
Let's
and
be
everybody's
one.
like, oh, well, we don't have like a legit thing going on in Chicago. I was like, what do you mean you don't? I see community. What, you know, I see this. I see all these beautiful people with these different practices coming together, you know, and with the bruja specifically, That's the thing that holds us together, that our power lies in community. That's why we're
Yeah.
in Pilsen. There's magic in Pilsen that is unlike any other place, just like there's magic in Humboldt Park that is unlike any other place. That's not something that can be taken away, it cannot be tapped into and filtered and
It's part of the character.
commodified. Yeah, it's something like we said about costumbre, about customs, the way that we treat each other, the way that we protect each other. Yeah, there is, you know, in those hoods specifically, in Pilsen and Humboldt Park and similar areas, there's a lot of stuff that goes on, and there's, you know, there's a lot of danger, but there's a lot of danger everywhere.
Yeah.
But the sense and the feeling of protection that you get being a part of the Bruja community there, you feel when you walk into the spaces and Bruja spaces that place is protected, because protection is the number one thing that is important to Brujos and Brujas.
Yes.
I might
yes.
add too, if you are a Bruja or a ceremonial magician or a witch, keep in mind, first of all, you are in touch with nature. You are capable of guiding coincidence. You are capable of miraculous feats, actually. That's, you know, you can't always explain away unless you know the techniques to set those in motion and you have the power to make it happen. And I was going somewhere with that.
It was becoming magical. Go ahead. Finish it off.
But yeah, a lot of people don't realize it's like, okay, I get you. If you are one of those people and you have practiced these skills, trust me when I tell you, it doesn't matter what part of the city you're in. You are tied in. You are keyed in. You have something. You got something more ticking in you than the average person in the street does. They have to worry about the weirdos and the strange people out there and the pervs and the violent people. Proper witch will be out there watching it all. Maybe even protecting the normal people from some of
Protecting
the
others.
bad stuff.
Absolutely, that's something that in
I'm a
our-
weirdo.
Yeah, that's something though that is very important in our rituals and what we do, because we hold temple at Ojo de Fortuna. Not everybody knows that yet. We were holding temple with Fraternity of the Goddess Chicago Fortuna Temple before we even opened Ojo de Fortuna, but now we hold temple there. And that's one of the number one things between the Brujas Malas and in Fraternity of the Goddess, that we focus part of our intention in every single ritual and every single meditation towards protecting others and protecting others that don't have the abilities that we do to assist with, you know, protecting themselves. And we always make a part of that intention to make sure that we're putting that protection out on the streets and you know, for our brothers and sisters.
Yes.
So that's something, if that's something that others are interested in, I highly encourage coming to ritual at Ojo de Fortuna. Fraternity of the Goddess has open ritual, so it's for seekers. It is non-denominational, and it's very non-deity based. We don't draw any deities in without the permission of the consensus. It's elemental based. And like I said, it's really good for seekers, but anyone on any level of their path. We do it once a month. And the next one that we're doing is on Tuesday, September 17th. It's at 7:30 p.m. sharp. We start meditation, and we have a ton of space. So we have, you know, these last couple of months had so many people come in from all different walks of life, all different levels. And it's something so that we can commune, which is the part, you know, of community that we need, is actually getting together. So if anyone is interested or is seeking out their path or just want out of sheer curiosity to see what we're about, Fraternity of the Goddess Chicago Fortuna Temple at Ojo de Fortuna is a great place to start. So.
Yes. Oh, do you want to share your address, Shar? Where are you located?
Oh, we're located right on the corner of 21st and Ashland, the intersection there. So we're facing the intersection right on the corner. And it's 2024 South Ashland Avenue. And that's in Pilsen. It's just 3 blocks or 3 streets south of 18th, right? 21st. And we're open on Wednesday through Sunday. I'm in there pretty much all the time. So.
Okay. And then there's another question right here from Desert Siren on YouTube. She says, when will Gemmell Bruja be going to have an online ordering available?
Well, that is a great question, Desert Siren, because as of this week, it's exactly the 1-year anniversary of the Gemmell Bruja website launch. So it's just GemmellBruja.com, QUEMALABRUJA.com, and you can order directly on the website and we ship. as long as it's not international. We're not there yet, but we'll get there.
Yes.
This has been a really syncretic day as far as the show's concerned.
I know.
Yeah, the way like
It's been
things just
good.
kind of kept falling into place.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy.
We had callers. We got people on YouTube asking questions. It's live. It's live
That's a
and
good
lit
show.
tonight.
I'm not gonna say it's me.
Dang. it's the Latin flavor up in here.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, Q4's got a lot of Latin flavor. Yeah.
Absolutely. Right now, we walked in and they're holding Boricua Resistance, and it's actually sharing thoughts, ideas, actions, and performances that relate to decolonizing the island. And I didn't know about that, and I walked in and I'm wearing
Look at her.
my Boricua Resistance, my black and
Yes.
white Puerto Rican flag shirt. So that's what this is every single day for me. Every single day. There are no coincidences, and everything is so unbelievably magical when you pay attention and when you open your eyes to see that there's things and there's so many messages out there for you. So this place in particular is very magical, and every time I've been here at Q4 for any events or anything of that nature, it has brought some of the most beautiful and magical people and beings together. It's really beautiful, and it's a blessing to be here. Thank you guys for having me here too.
Oh, thank you so much for coming in. You know, oh, we're not quite done yet.
Right.
We do have a couple of announcements though. Nina,
Yes.
yes. Guess where we'll be on September 28th? Can you guess?
Pagan Pride and my birthday.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Oh no. Well, happy birthday.
Yes.
Happy birthday.
So if you guys would like to join us,
And wish Nina a happy birthday and maybe give her a
yeah,
present.
yeah, and come chat with me and DK. We'll both be here at Greater Chicagoland Pagan Pride, and it's actually being held here at Q4.
That's right.
So you guys will get to check out. You guys get to check out the scene over here. All the art that's all over. Like this place is art from the ceiling to the floor.
It is.
Completely covered in art. So if you guys want to come and be a part of Greater Chicagoland Pagan Pride, we are going to have lots of vendors here. There's going to be some ceremonies, different things going on.
That's going to be Saturday, September the 28th. So mark that on your
Yes.
calendars. From go look back down. Let's say 10 a.m. to 8 p.m.
Yes, 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. And if you guys want to put down the address, we're going to be here located at 2643 West Chicago Avenue, and that is in Chicago, Illinois. So you guys could GPS that and get right over here to Q4.
Incidentally, we're right across the street from a sweet, inexpensive taco restaurant named Yoli's.
Oh, nice.
Oh yeah, I do love and I loved it when we moved to this location. It's like, we got a taco restaurant. Yes.
I wanted to mention something about Greater Chicagoland Pagan Pride
Yes.
too. Fraternity of the Goddess Chicago Fortuna Temple, where we hold Temple at Ojo de Fortuna. That group, I'm one of the founding members of the group, and we're actually hosting the only ritual that's going to be held. It's going to be the opening ritual ceremony, and we're very excited and very blessed to be able to do that. Gemmell la Bruja, myself, with Dali, my business partner, my witch sister, we're going to also have our own table, so please stop by and visit us when you come over to Greater Chicagoland Pagan Pride. And also, one of our other gallery owners, Jackie Arte, is also going to have her own space at Greater Chicagoland Pagan Pride. So we're all over this.
Nice.
So yeah, we really look forward to seeing you guys there, and I am just absolutely thrilled and honored that Fraternity of the Goddess is able to host a ritual this year. So
That is great.
thank you.
And everybody gets to come here and meet their favorite Q4 occult show hosts.
Yes, yes.
So we'll
And
be-
I wanted to go ahead and also announce the events that I will be hosting in October.
Oh, what's that?
Yes, if you guys are looking for, and you guys, October is the magical month for the witches. So if you guys are looking to be a part of any of the witchy events coming up in October, I have the Witches Ball, October 5th. That is October 5th. It is going to be from 7 p.m. to 1 a.m. And you guys can get your tickets at Eventbrite by simply typing in Chicago Witches Ball, and it'll pop right up. You can get your tickets there. If you guys are interested in knowing more about this event or following this event, you guys can go on Facebook and type in Chicago Witches Ball. And again, that is October 5th from 7 p.m. to 1 a.m. And everything is included in the tickets, so you guys won't have to worry about bringing your wallets or bringing your purses, just your ID, so that you can enjoy the open bar. So it includes open bar, a 4-course meal, entertainment by two of Chicago's hottest DJs. This is DJ K City and DJ Send. So if you guys want to listen to some elevating tunes, dance the night away, have some drinks, have some food, hang out with me, Nina Soul, and at the end of the night, we will be enjoying dessert, coffee, and some Mad Hatter tea because it is Witches in Wonderland. It is a Wonderland-themed Witches Ball. So if you guys are fans of Tim Burton's Alice in Wonderland or even the classic Alice in Wonderland, you guys want to be a part of this event. It is witchy attire required, so you guys could come dressed up as crazy or as mad as you would love to, and you guys will fit right in. And then the following day will be October 6th. So if you guys know the Mad Hatter, he has that tag in his hat. It is 10-6. That is our next event. That brings us into the Chicago Witches Expo. It is going to be the first Witches Expo of Chicago that I will be hosting. That is October 6th. And guess who's going to be there? Who's going to be there vending?
I'm everywhere. I'm everywhere. I'm
She
everywhere all the
up in
time.
it.
Yes.
Yeah.
All I do is I just hop on my broom and I get myself wherever it is
From
I
one
need
to
to
the
go.
other.
Yes.
So you guys could check out the Witches Expo. I'm gonna have so many amazing witchy vendors there selling their handmade items, their witch crafted handmade goods, and it's a perfect weekend for you guys to come out and support your witches community. And it's important that we keep these community events alive. So you guys show your support, whether it be for my events that I got coming up, Pagan Pride that we got coming up, Ojo de Fortuna. You guys have to show support for these witches events because this is how we continue to be a community. This is how we keep these events alive. So you guys, it's time to broom it up, get your pointy hat on, and hop on that broomstick and be everywhere just like Shar over here. Ojo de Fortuna. Follow her. She knows where all the hot spots are.
True. Do you guys mind if I mention one more thing too?
Please, go
Go
ahead.
ahead.
What is this? This next Friday, September 6th. All of the witches from Ojo de Fortuna are participating in a show with Pilsen Outpost. So if you're looking for other brujas and brujos and other people in the Pilsen community who are interested in the occult, Pilsen Outpost, right on 18th Street, is hosting an art show called Pintura Obscura. And
Ooh.
it's specifically... This year's theme focuses on pastel gore, so it's everything cute and gross.
I love
Everything
it.
cute and gory. And we're actually going to have our nephew Brujo, Dom. He's going to be reading tarot as well, and he's an amazing tarot reader. And if you want to just try out a sample tarot reading, or you want to find other people who are into dark and cute and spooky stuff like us, definitely come down to Pilsen Outpost on 18th Street, Friday, September 6th.
Awesome.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. Thank you so much for coming in tonight, Kimala Bruja. And thank you so much for sharing all of your guests and your YouTube live feed.
Oh,
with
for
us
sure.
tonight. That is so awesome.
For sure, and I want to give a special thanks to all of my YouTube followers. Thank you guys so much for continuing to support me in everything that it is that I do. I truly love you guys because without you guys, I wouldn't have a following. I'd be talking to myself. So thank you guys for supporting my YouTube channel. Thank you for supporting us here at Q4.org Radio. We appreciate you guys. We love you guys, and thank you so much for tuning in.
Yes, thank you so very much. And as she has mentioned, we are in the tail end of the show. So we'll be wrapping it up here now. We'll be back next week. And as I'd like to remind all of our listeners, as I do every week, to remember that the magical path is in fact a religion. Just remember, religion done correctly is art. So my advice to you is to go look for the art in your world, and then you can make your life magical. Have a good night, everyone.
Good night.
Good night, thank you.